All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our post-race coverage. We're going to get this underway, rocking and rolling. Denny Hamlin getting it done at Las Vegas in the South Point 400. How about that? How about that? Let me make some last-second changes, and I just need to make a few more notes. What lap was the big one on? 245. All right, guys, let's get things underway. First, we'll kick off with our race recap. Oh, Glenn Powell, star of the Running Man. Glenn Powell, guy from Top Gun. All right, lap one. Chase Briscoe jumps out to the lead. He ends up losing the lead during green flag pit stops, and William Byron takes over P1. And stage one was very clean. They made pit stops about halfway through, so they had one stop during that first stage. And on lap 72, this was pretty big. Playoff implications. Our first caution for incident. Ryan Blaney getting into the outside wall. Right here. And let me open this up. Ryan Blaney getting into the outside wall after the left front got cut down. Huge playoff implications. This does put Blaney, I think, the lowest on the points right now. Luckily, he's really good at Talladega, and he's really good at Martinsville. So he still has a chance to win and make his way in. But he won't be the only playoff guy to face difficulties. His teammate Joey was already way below the cut line coming into this. So the Penske guys, I thought they were going to have great days. Perhaps go out there and win. And it just wasn't the greatest day. But we'll check in on Joey here in a bit. Let's look at our stage one results. Stage one. Winning stage one. William Byron receiving 10 points. Kyle Larson second. Third, Chase Briscoe. Fourth, Denny Hamlin. Fifth, Chase Elliott. Sixth, Bubba Wallace. Seventh, Christopher Bell. Eighth, Tyler Reddick. Ninth, Ty Gibbs. And 10th, Joey Logano. SVG 12th. I mean, it was a really good run for SVG for a lot of this race. Bowman 15th. He kind of worked his way up from further back in the field. So, not great, but not as bad as he's been running lately. Austin Dillon 22nd, Brad Keselowski 23rd, Kyle Busch 25th. The other Penske guy back in 28th. Kind of wild that Austin Cindric was so far off the pace. And another guy I was really disappointed with was Josh Berry. Just not having a great run, especially in stage one. So our stage one winner, William Byron. In stage two, Kyle Larson leads them off. And Briscoe ends up getting into the wall, which allegedly knocked out the toe on the right front. So Briscoe lost a few positions, but I believe he stayed in the top 10. So it wasn't crazy for him. And then on lap 230... Oh, wait, I skipped a lot. My bad. Yeah, Briscoe in the wall. Okay, yeah, stage one results. On the restart, Byron loses the lead to Chase Elliott. And the reason why is Briscoe got in the back of Byron. That's right. Briscoe got in the back of Byron. Byron almost spun from the lead on the restart. So he ends up falling back through the field. During the pit cycle, Chase Elliott, penalty for an uncontrolled tire. This changed his day completely. He had top 5 pace, it looked like, all day, and then just lost the track position and couldn't make it back. So that was huge, playoff implications. So now that's 2 playoff guys that have had, some struggles there. And, just unfortunate, but that's the kind of situation that the playoffs put you in. And then also receiving a penalty a few laps later, Bubba Wallace, a speeding penalty. It looked like he got out of pit road cleanly. I didn't see him lock up the tires or anything, but he was just a little too fast, apparently. So he also received a penalty, and this pretty much ruined his day. And let's get our Stage 2 results. Stage 2 was pretty clean. Pretty clean, aside from Byron almost wrecking and Briscoe getting in the wall. Just a little contact, nothing crazy. So our Stage 2 results, Kyle Larson taking Stage 2, Tyler Reddick 2nd, William Byron 3rd, Denny Hamlin 4th, Chase Briscoe 5th, 6th, Christopher Bell, 7th, Ty Gibbs, 8th, Alex Bowman working his way up through the field, 9th, Joey Logano getting 2 stage points. This was huge since he was, at the time, way below the cut line, and he still is, I guess. 10th, Carson Hocevar. SVG 11th, Brad Keselowski working his way up, Chris Buescher as well. Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch working their way up, 16th and 17th. Chase Elliott back to 25th after the penalty. He had worked his way back up a little bit, but, 25th, not where you want to be, not receiving stage points in Stage 2. Pretty rough. And as we see, Ryan Blaney down there, dead last still, obviously. And another weird thing, so we have one Penske guy doing really well. Blaney had perhaps top 5 pace. But we have 2 Penske guys down here. Wood Brothers. This is Wood Brothers. They're affiliated with Penske. The car is prepared by Penske. So they're running 29th and 30th. Logano's in the top 10, and Blaney would have been if he hadn't wrecked. So kind of weird there. And another thing to point out, Ryan Preece. His 2 teammates are just outside the top 10. And, Ryan Preece down there in 31st. Kind of crazy. Now where we were. Larson led them off. Briscoe gets into the wall, gets the toe damage, and then on lap 237, the next major moment in the race is that uncontrolled tire on Chase Elliott, by the way. I've never seen a tire make... We'll get back to Stage 3 in a second. I'm going to show you guys this. Watch the angle this tire takes. Just a little off balance. You see it almost fall over here, and it then keeps going into the next stall. That's why Chase Elliott got his penalty. Wild. I have not seen a tire do that before. Oh yeah, Bowman getting into the back of Ty Gibbs on pit road. That could have been a day ender for both of them. So this was right before William Byron's incident. Got a little loose, and this is what put him back into second place. He was leading the race before this, so just in the matter of a few laps, William Byron goes from leading to into the back of Ty Gibbs at Mach 20. That's what you guys are talking about. No one told Byron that Tim was pitting, and yeah, he didn't alert anyone. That's right. Christian said all 3 RFK cars finished top 15. We'll get to that in a second. Penske didn't have the speed. Yeah. Look, great call for Logano to take 2 there at the end, though. Tonight, Major Monday, even better. Yeah, hey, congrats to all the Hamlin fans. Oh, that's rough. I didn't know about Denny's dad. Yeah, Ty Dillon. Yeah, did I say Gibbs? All right, back to where we were. This was just a crazy hard impact. So on the backstretch, Ty Dillon didn't signal to Byron. And Byron's spotter didn't know Ty Dillon was coming down either. And so at the end of the day, that's just poor race etiquette not to signal out the window, trying to rely on your spotter. Kind of a racing incident, but this could have been handled better. Rough. That was rough. And that really reshaped the race, because coming to the end, this allows guys to come down and have a differing strategy. So this will be our next incident. So under that pit stop, after Byron's accident with Ty Dillon, John Hunter Nemechek also involved. I don't know how he got involved, but he ended up backwards on pit road. But anyway, a lot of guys ended up taking 2 tires. Joey Logano was one of them. Really worked out for him. And also, oh, Dr. Derp has our stream play. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Derp. Dr. Derp is a great follow, by the way. If you guys are fans of NASCAR content, he does some great live streams, great podcasts, great guy to follow. Yeah, a lot of guys took 2 tires, so this shuffled the field up. So at the front, we had Larson on 4 tires, and Alex Bowman had worked his way up to second in this running order. So he had worked his way up right behind Larson. They had some guys with 2 tires in front of them, 2 tires through the field. Hey, Dr. Derp. Hey, Dr. Derp. Good to see you, man. And that really set up for an interesting run to the end. I don't know if we had seen anyone take 2 tires throughout the race, so I was really wondering how this strategy was going to play out. And then here we get to the next restart. So this is the restart after Byron's incident. Ty Gibbs around, pretty heavy contact there. Austin Dillon receiving damage. Several cars involved. So this is the big one before Talladega. Cautions breed cautions. I forget who said it. Maybe it was Christian. Whoever it was, you know who you are. Great call. Cautions breed cautions, and we see what happened here. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. And this set up for another restart. And on this last restart, Bowman was able to get by Larson. So this gave Bowman the actual ability to choose which lane he wanted to back. He ends up taking the inside lane. Not sure why. And it did not end up working out, but Bowman just did not have the car at the end. On this next restart, Briscoe holds the lead, and Hamlin ends up working his way past several cars on this last restart. I don't know if we have a replay of the last restart, but Hamlin made some great moves, and he was able to get by a lot of good cars. Able to get by Larson. They had a decent battle for a few laps. Hamlin drives up through the field, gets by Briscoe, who's fading on 2 tires, and seals the deal. So that's Denny Hamlin's 60th career win. So one thing we were discussing about Denny Hamlin, we had a prediction that he could reach 70 to 75 wins. He only has a few years left in his career, and guys eventually hit the wall. But with that said, Denny Hamlin is running as good as he ever has. At this age, extremely impressed with Denny Hamlin's performance. This could be his year. He's locked into the Final Four now. So the pressure's off for him. His team can focus on building that Phoenix car for the next 2 weeks. I'm sure they still want to go out and perform well at Talladega and perform well at Martinsville, but the pressure is completely off of them, and they're just focused on that last race now because that's how the playoffs work. They have that luxury. So pretty wild stuff. Let's go ahead and look at our race results. Let's see how things shook out. Okay, that's not working. Let's minimize that. Bring that back up. Denny Hamlin, P1. Great win for Denny Hamlin. Didn't have race-winning pace all day, and he was just there when it mattered. Kyle Larson's car kind of fell asleep. And what was wild to me is Denny Hamlin beat Kyle Larson, the top line guy, the guy who runs the top groove, beat him on the top groove. So, great run for Hamlin. Extremely impressive. Maybe this is his year. Second, Kyle Larson had a really consistent day. He was constantly in the conversation. Christopher Bell, a good day as well. Briscoe, same story. So we have 3 JGR cars at the front of the field. Ty Gibbs was up there before he wrecked himself. And then we have Tyler Reddick, 2311 driver. I thought he would run a little better. He was wrapping that top side at certain points in the race really well. Joey, great call at the end to take 2 tires. Gained a ton of track position. Maybe that's the championship move that gives him just enough points, you know, depending on what happens at Talladega and Martinsville. Bowman 7th. I think he choked the win away, but it also looked like he just didn't have the car at the end. So maybe Bowman was more of a long run guy. 8th, Kyle Busch. Kyle improved throughout the day. I think he either just escaped going a lap down or got the lucky dog in stage 1. I can't recall. But, you know, he was a lap down at one point, I believe. But anyway, works his way back up through the field. They improve in stage 2. They improve in stage 3. Ends up getting a top 10. Really impressive there. Ryan Preece, 9th. Good recovery for Ryan Preece. We saw how he was running in stage 1 and 2. So crazy finish for Ryan Preece. Brad Keselowski, P10. Austin Cindric, good recovery in 11th. Chris Buescher, 12th. So 3 of our RFK guys coming on at the end. Fords were kind of a no-show throughout the race. And it's not that they weren't near the top 10. It's just they didn't have the winning pace. So that's a little concerning. I thought Penske was going to do a lot better today. And maybe Blaney would have been that guy. But, you know, he took himself out, I guess, with that tire getting cut down. And perhaps it was a setup thing, because Joey was also having issues with his tires coming apart, apparently. He had a right front issue towards the end of stage 2, I believe. Anyway, keep looking through the field. Noah Gragson, 13th. Great run for him. Good run for Ricky Stenhouse, Eric Jones, Michael McDowell. Riley Herbst, fantastic run. I know it's 17th, but this is a home run day for Riley Herbst. Chase Elliott, not able to recover. Not enough pit stops. They just didn't have the pace back in the field. I think without the penalty, he probably finishes upper top 10. But we won't know. I mean, he just clearly did not have a car that could make the passes back in the pack. 19th, AJ. 20th, Daniel Suarez. 21st, Todd Gilliland. 22nd, Bubba Wallace. Really ruined his day when he had the speeding penalty on pit road. Ross Chastain, 23rd. 24th, Zane Smith. 25th, Austin Dillon, receiving damage in the big one. Our last caution of the day. Josh Berry, 26th. Really disappointing day for Berry. I thought he could perhaps run better, repeat his spring performance, but he definitely didn't. 27th, Justin Haley. 28th, Cole Custer. 29th, John Hunter Nemechek. 30th, JJ Yaley. 31st, Catherine Legg. Keeping it clean all day. You know, did not have the pace, but she survived and made it to the end. And, you know, that's what these backmarker drivers are paid to do, is to log laps and finish the race. That's what she did. Carson Hocevar, 32nd. Shane Van Gisbergen. He ran towards the top 10 all day and was running in the top 10, I think, when he was taken out. So, you know, impressive run by SVG. It definitely looks like he's improving at the intermediate tracks. So let's keep an eye on SVG next year. 34th, Ty Gibbs. He had a great day going. And I said it in stage 1. I said, how is Ty Gibbs going to ruin his day? And we got our answer. We got our answer there. Taken out there in that last caution. Cody Ware also receiving damage in that incident. Arby's car taken out. William Byron, we saw what happened with William Byron and Ty Dillon. This puts him way below the cut line, so playoff drama. And Ryan Blaney also dropping below the cut line. This could have been a race win day for Blaney. The Penske guys are usually good at here. He at least could have had, you know, a top 10 run and set himself up well for Talladega and Martinsville, where he is really competitive. But now he's definitely in jeopardy. We'll try to look at our playoff picture. I'm not sure if they have the points posted yet. But let's go ahead and open this window back up here. Let's look at our Winston Cup points first. So this is our Xfinity points. Connor Zillage pretty much locked this thing up, but let's keep an eye on our Cup points. Do we not have it yet? I don't think the Winston Cup points have been updated yet. Usually they're very quick about it, so I'm sure he's working on it. So we'll keep an eye on that. But let's look at our NASCAR points. Hopefully someone's updated this or uploaded it. 2025 NASCAR Cup Series scorecard after Las Vegas. So Denny Hamlin locked in there at the top. Second, Kyle Larson, 35 points above the cut line. Not necessarily comfortable. Any of these guys could drop below the cut line with a bad day at Talladega. Christopher Bell, third, 20 points above the cut line. And Chase Briscoe, 15 points above the cut line. And just below the cut line, two guys that had unfortunate days. William Byron, luckily he received, I think, 18 stage points throughout the day. So this kept him from having, a catastrophic day. 15 is still doable. But everything comes down to Talladega. Can you stay out of the big one? And can you run well at Martinsville? Going to be interesting to watch. Chase Elliott, with that uncontrolled tire, not able to make up the points, 23 below the cut line. Joey Logano started in the hole, 24 points below the cut line, had a great finish that saved its points day. Because without that points gamble, or without the tire gamble, he's probably dead even with Blaney, if not a little below Blaney. And Blaney, with that left front failure, finishing dead last in the race, he's 31 points below the cut line. It's still doable. He can still point his way in, depending on what happens with the other playoff drivers. And Blaney is also really good at Talladega and Martinsville. Same for Joey Logano. Joey's a little more reckless, but working together with the Fords and how good he is at Martinsville, I wouldn't count out either Penske driver. And then, that's a look at our playoff guys. I wish I had a better picture to look at that. Yeah, that one's a little larger. Take a look at that. So if you guys are ready to call in, let me get this situated. Boop, boop. And I'll need to turn my headset back on. I think Logano had a great call there at the end. Just didn't have the speed I thought he was going to have. But if you guys are ready, I have the line open. So you can call in at the number on screen if you want to share your thoughts. And just as a heads up, let's try to keep the calls to like 3 to 5 minutes at max. Because I am going to try to wrap this up a lot quicker than usual. My wife's been gone this weekend. She just got back. So I'm trying to spend some time with her before the work week starts. See what you guys have been talking about while we're waiting to see if anyone wants to call in. We say... JJ Yaley, top 30, getting closer and closer to being a Hendrick car level 1 week at a time. Depending on how Alex Bowman runs, that's very true. Dr. Derp said SVG running so good, running top 10. New Hampshire gets taken out, running top 10, gets taken out by Bell. Yeah, I mean, it was a great day. Great day for SVG. Yeah, if you want to, you can call in that number on screen and give you 3 to 5 minutes, share whatever you want to say. And you can shout out your channel, too, if you'd like. Once again, just Dr. Derp. He's a great follow. You see him here in the chat. If you're interested in NASCAR gaming content, NASCAR race coverage, podcast format coverage, he's a great follow. And his racing streams are really good. High presentation level. I think it's really interesting. I think it's still anyone's game. Blaney is, in the hole, but they're going to have to be pushing hard. And the Fords usually like to run up towards the front at Talladega. So a couple of good stages, a couple of these guys not receiving stage points or getting involved in accidents, and they're back in the conversation. Byron 15th below, that's rough. And Elliott 23 below. Just disappointing for those guys, but that's how it goes. That's the kind of things that'll happen in this playoff format. So one thing that I will note, I don't have the the Winston Cup points in front of me, but Bell third and Briscoe fourth, those two guys I think are 1 and 2 in the Winston Cup points. So it's good to see those guys staying in contention, because with a season-long points format, they would be the two guys duking it out for the championship. So I like seeing those guys do well because they deserve it. They've been consistent all year, and I would hate to see them get taken out because of the playoff format. While we're waiting, let me go ahead and update this. Okay, while we're waiting, we'll try to see if the Winston Cup points have been posted. Yes. Great Twitter account to follow, our Winston Cup points. So Bell, 55 points above Briscoe. So that's still very doable. So I think the maximum amount of points you can get each week are 175 to win the race. 175. So a couple of lesser performances from Bell, some good points days from Briscoe, or even a couple race wins, and he could put himself back in the conversation. But Bell has, somewhat of a lead, not enough to lock it up. Chase Elliott still mathematically in it. Larson as well. Hamlin might just be out of it, and I'm not sure. We would have to see. We would have to see. Interesting stuff. P5, Denny Hamlin jumping up 2 positions. William Byron and Ryan Blaney both losing 1 position off of the points. Rodovate's literally the top 3 team. Yeah, only the top 3. Hendrick, Gibbs, and Penske. That's exactly how it played out. And right now, only 1 Hendrick guy's, relatively safe. But even, with a bad day at Dega, I could take Kyle out of it. Denny Hamlin, making the most of it. Not really a threat for the points-long championship, or the season-long points championship. 6th, William Byron. 7th, Ryan Blaney. 8th, Tyler Reddick. 9th, Chris Buescher. And 10th, Joey Logano. So this is a look at what we would have with the season-long points. All right. While we're waiting, I'll leave that pulled up there. Pull up J-Ski. Go ahead and do a little preview of next week. So next week we have a full weekend at 3 Central, 4 Eastern. We have the truck race at Talladega. On Saturday, same time, we have the Xfinity race. And then on Sunday, we have the Yellowwood 500. It says 500 on the logo, 400 below it. What is it? I'm being lied to here. And there it says Yellowwood 500. There, very frequently you come to J-Ski and there's issues. You'll see a typo here or there. They'll have the wrong date, the wrong time for the race. I always got to make sure. Yeah, Yellowwood 500. 400 there. Interesting that, only in one place is it incorrect. Next week, maybe. Next week could be doable. I'll be gone the Martinsville race weekend. Just to update you guys, I'll be traveling, so I don't think we'll have a stream that weekend, at least not NASCAR related. Maybe we can do a reaction, or maybe we can do a post race, but it'll have to be from like a mobile setup. I don't know how that would go, but I'll definitely be posting some content related to that trip, so we'll see how that plays out. All right, guys, just a reminder, you guys, if anyone wants to call in at that 615 number. Love to hear from you guys, hear your thoughts on the race. But if not, if no one's interested in calling in, we'll go ahead and wrap this up in the next few minutes. Let's go ahead and look at our other stories here. We have... I need to turn my headset back on. There we go. Braun Strowman and Ryan Blaney. Look at the size difference. All right, we do have our first call.
Call from Jonathan L. Gunn.
All right, welcome to the stream. What are your thoughts on today's race? King is dead.
Byron should have won. That's it. Plain and simple. F. Ty Dillon. Denny Hamlin should have ran out of gas. DNF. That's it.
That's it. Those are your thoughts. Okay, very, very short and sweet call. You know, any race where Byron has the race-winning speed in stage 1, stage 2, leads a lot of laps, I just start thinking, when is Byron's car gonna fall off? When is something gonna go wrong? Because he had very dominant races this year. At Darlington, I think, and the Coke 600, and found a way to lose both of those. So, you know, I was wondering when Ty Gibbs' day would fall off, I was wondering what would happen to Byron. And we saw how both of their days ended, so that was rough. So this is Ryan Blaney's response. Did you have any warning the tire was going down? No, I didn't have any thoughts that it was going to blow. As soon as I lifted into 3, it blew out. I have another call here.
Call from
Kenny Wayne.
Welcome to the stream. You are live.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. What are your thoughts on today's race?
I haven't seen the race yet. I just
All
got
right.
home from work, but I really like the idea of your Winston Cup point system. Who would have won the championship?
For sure. It's always interesting to see that because, you know, this playoff system, it's very gimmicky. I think you might agree there. But this shows, like, who's been consistent all year. And it's a pretty tight battle going into it.
My biggest concern or my biggest wonder was that when Kevin Harvick won 9 races quite a few years back, that's what I was always interested in.
Mm-hmm. So, so I think if they had run season long, they never went to the chase, never went to the playoffs. Gordon would have 7 championships. Harvick would have 4. Jimmy would have 3, and Carl would have 1, I believe. And Kyle would still have 2. Byron would have a championship, and Bell would have last year's championship.
I'm going to dig real deep into that. I really appreciate your stream, the trouble it takes for you to do that. Like I said, I just got home, and so I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for those kind words, and great to have you here.
All right. You have a great evening. We'll talk to you later. Good night.
Thank you. Bye. Very kind words there. That was nice. Nice to hear. And yes, I mean, just definitely agree with his comments there. It's such an interesting, thing to go back and look at the Winston Cup standings. Let me see if I can find that list of Winston Cup winners. I would love to look at that. All right. Okay, we have it pulled up. This is excellent. So this is a look at what would have happened if... Oh, the Twitter account has it pinned? I wouldn't be shocked. That may be a better looking graphic. Double A, my man. So here we go. You guys may have to zoom in. So if you're on mobile, you can pinch and zoom. So if you want to look at the list closer. Christopher Bell, last year's champion, by a gap of 5 points. William Byron. So look how close these battles are. William Byron by 17 points. Chase Elliott by 68. Kyle Larson by 24. These are all really close and interesting battles. Chase Elliott has a championship. Not the same year he actually won it. Larson, a championship as well. Kevin Harvick, 4 championships. Kyle Busch, 2 championships. Truex gets a championship. Harvick with, Harvick back-to-back there. Gordon in 2014 would have won his 7th and final championship. Jimmy Johnson with 3, so still respectable. Keselowski with a championship. Carl as well. Jeff Gordon getting one in 2007. 2007 was such a good year for Gordon, but the 48 team just had a monster chase. Just absolutely monster. And that was a crazy year because we had the Gen 4 car and the Gen 5 car, the COT. Cool stuff. Kenseth in 06 for his 2nd championship. 2005, Stewart. 2004, Gordon. 2003, Matt Kenseth. So, interesting look back through history at what would have happened if we didn't have the chase introduced and if we didn't have the playoffs introduced. And it's very cool to see the gap here. By 1 point in 06. By 1 point, Matt Kenseth gets his 2nd championship. By 4 points and by 6 points, Johnson gets 08 and 09. Now, this isn't the most, realistic thing, because if there were season-long points, the teams would have raced differently. You know, they would have prepared for each weekend differently. So that's not exactly how it would have shaken out, but as the races were run, with no differences, if it just had the Winston Cup system, you know, these would be your champions. So pretty interesting stuff. I love looking at this. I'm not a fan of the playoff format. I think it leads to some silly champions, especially Joey Logano's last one. He had, I think it was 14th in points, and he ended up winning the championship. That's bizarre. I don't think that should ever happen. But, guys, we have been live doing this post-race now for 39 minutes. If anyone else wants to call in, I'll give you guys another minute. And you can call in, share your thoughts, call on that number on screen. If not, we will wrap things up here shortly. Looking forward to next week at Talladega. I'm not sure if I'll be live for the truck race, but we should be live on Saturday and Sunday for that. And then we will not be live, more than likely, for the Martinsville race weekend. But then I'll see you guys back here for Phoenix. So that should be interesting. You know, we're going to be doing plenty of NASCAR 25. That game just came out. So if you're interested in seeing NASCAR 25 gameplay, this is one place to see it. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on in the NASCAR world. We're getting close to the end of our season, but we have a lot of news about next year. We're going to 750 at, I think, all the tracks shorter than 1.5 and at the road courses. Not sure if that's a big enough difference, but hopefully there's some kind of improvement. Yeah, 98 Gordon was insane. I think, 13 wins or something? Absolutely insane year. Still barely beat Mark Martin because he had some DNFs. It's, we're closing in. We're under a month now. But yeah, once the PC version comes out, I'm going to be switching over more than likely. But I'm hoping to finish my career on PlayStation. And then when the PC version comes out, I'll just restart my career and see how that one plays out. So interesting stuff. A lot of news here in the NASCAR world. There's definitely been some movement on the lawsuit between 2311 and NASCAR. It looks like they're going to try to settle that. So it looks like perhaps 2311 and Front Row will both get to continue operating because as of last month, NASCAR was saying they were looking to go ahead and sell those charters. So looks like cooler heads prevailed. But it's going to be interesting to see what changed NASCAR's mind. Why are they trying to settle suddenly? Seems like they were kind of in the power position. Fun race there. Fun race. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you guys for the calls. 6 days until the Yellowwood 500. 6 days, 17 hours. So Friday we have a race, so look for that. That should be on Fox Sports 1. The CW on Saturday. And then on Sunday, the race will be on Big NBC. So NBC, you can get it on an antenna. Get it on most cable packages, if not all of them. And then we'll be live here. So hope to see you guys then. And thank you guys for being here, hanging out with me during the race, hanging out during the post race. And I hope to see you guys in the next one.